Welcome aboard. Justin here from Swift, Silent, Deadly. I've got a very credible, very cool rifle qualification for you this week, the Gunsite Patrol Rifle Qualification, or Gunsite Police Carbine Qualification Course, as I believe it is officially termed. Well, I don't know if anything's official about this at all because I ran across this drill in a 2020 article on gunsite.com. So the article is called Fighting with the M1 Carbine by Ken Campbell. Ken is the CEO of Gunsite. I'm not a Gunsite alum, by the way. I'd love to be, but I'm not as of this time. This article posts a screenshot of the Gunsite Police Carbine Qualification course. Again, it's 4 years old. I don't know if it's been updated since, but since I didn't have anything else really to go with, I decided to shoot this and see what happened. So I shot this with my AR-15. And then I also decided for S's and G's to shoot it with my pistol as well and see if I could pass a carbine qualification with my pistol. You'll have to stick around to the end to find out if I did it or not. So this drill requires 40 rounds. It's shot, I believe, in 8 stages. However, all of these stages are shot at least twice, and one of them is shot 4 times. So I think the total comes out to 18 discrete stages of fire. To shoot this drill, we'll need one target. The prescribed target is a TQ-15. I didn't have one as usual, so I used an ILFEQ target. The TQ-15 is scored 5, 4, and 1 with 200 points possible at 40 rounds. Since I didn't have the TQ-15, I adapted the ILFEQ that I had and called the 8-inch circle the down 0 zone, or the 5-point zone. Anything in the bottle, 4 points, and anything outside of the bottle but still within the silhouette, 1 point. I think that's a reasonable approximation. The bottle, I believe, is actually quite a bit smaller than what they're calling the 4 zone on the TQ-15. Assuming I'm looking at the right TQ-15, I don't really know. I would have shot this on a Gunsite option target, but I also don't have a Gunsite option target and could not find where to order one. So anyway, there it is. We're doing the best we can. This is not official. It's not for qualification or anything like that. This is just kind of as my own skills gauge. So with that being said, let's get into the course of fire. So the first stage is at 50 yards, 50 yards. We're going to be at the low ready. We're going to fire 2 rounds offhand in a time limit of 5 seconds. So 5 seconds to get the gun up and get 2 accurate hits off. We're going to repeat that for a second iteration, total of 4 rounds. My times on this were 2.49 seconds and 2.39 seconds. So moving on. We're going to stay at the 50 for one more set of drills. These are going to be the same thing, but from a kneeling position rather than a standing position. So these should be a little bit easier, a little bit more accurate. On low ready, on the buzzer, we're going to snap the gun up and fire 2 rounds from that kneeling position. And we're going to do that twice, time limit of 5 seconds for each iteration. My times are 2.90 and 2.70 on those 2 runs respectively. Now let's move up to the 25-yard line. All right, at the 25-yard line, we're basically going to do the same thing we did at the 50, but the time is going to be compressed down a little bit. Instead of 5 seconds per stage, it'll be 3 seconds per stage. So the first one from the 25 is 2 rounds from the standing position in 3 seconds, beginning at a low ready. We're going to do that twice for a total of 4 rounds. My times on these were 1.97 seconds and 2.08 seconds. Now at this point, I walked down and looked at the target and I had 4 rounds outside of the 8-inch circle, but still in the bottle. So I'm going to call that down 4 points. Still good to go. We're still passing, but down a few points. Back at the 25, we're going to shoot that kneeling stage. So 2 rounds from the kneeling in a time limit of 3 seconds. And we're going to do that twice for another 4 rounds. My times on those were 2.18 and 1.78 seconds respectively. Now we're going to move up to the 15-yard line. There's a lot of stages in this drill, but they move pretty quick. This doesn't take a whole lot of time to run. So at the 15, our first stage of fire is going to be from the low ready. We're going to fire 1 single headshot in a time limit of 2 seconds. We're going to do that 4 times though for a total of 4 rounds. I really began to enjoy this drill because it's very simple, but it is very, very credible. If you think of, a mass shooter situation, some sort of, family member being held at gunpoint situation. Like, I know these are kind of outliers, but I want to know I can deliver that accurate fire in a compressed time frame on a precision target. My times on these were 1.11, 1.04, 1.17, and 1.14. So these were all in within 13/100ths of a second, just over a tenth of a second of each other. Pretty consistent process there. I'm getting the gun up to a good, reliable kind of kinesthetic index every single time. So that I'm pretty happy with that consistency. At this point, we have one more stage at the 15, and that is to fire 2 rounds, drop to the kneeling, and fire 2 more rounds in a time limit of 10 seconds. And we're going to do that twice. So going into these, you need to make sure you have a round in the magazine, a round in the chamber, and a spare magazine. I don't normally carry a magazine pouch, so I just stuck a magazine in my back pocket. Probably if I have to roll out with an AR for whatever reason, and I decide to grab a spare magazine, that's probably be the configuration in which I find myself, because I don't have a mag pouch on my belt. Some cops do. I get it. It's not my situation, so I chose to shoot it how I would probably shoot it. My times on those were good. 5.97 and 6.8 seconds, and those are clean runs, both a go on that station. Now, let's move up to the 10-yard line. I'm going to be frank with you, at the 10, it starts to get sporting time-wise. So at the 10-yard line, we fire a failure drill. That is 2 shots to the body and 1 to the head, also called a Mozambique drill or a failure to stop drill, or I've heard it called a drug and armor drill. We fired 2 body shots. It hasn't gotten the response that we're looking for, so we're going to transition to that central nervous system shot. So 10 yards, failure drill in 2 seconds. We're going to do this twice for a total of 6 rounds. That is not a lot of time to get a failure drill off from 10 yards. My times are 1.59 and 1.86, both clean runs. Let's move up to the 5-yard line. At the 5-yard line, again, failure drill, this time in 1.5 seconds. So on the buzzer, snap the gun up, 2 body, 1 head in a second and a half. That is moving out. My times on those were 1.41 and 1.37 seconds. That is, again, that's a fairly compressed timeline to be able to get 2 in the body and 1 in the head. That's a good standard to work toward. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at my target. I dropped those 4 rounds, and that is all. So total, I shot a 196 on this drill. A 180 or 90% is necessary to pass. I'm well above a 90%. I think I'm at a 98%. Now, I decided to be a little silly and see if I could shoot this and pass it with a pistol. Of course I can shoot it, but can I pass? 8 rounds at 50 yards, 8 more at 25. It's a pretty demanding drill to be attempting with a pistol, but I decided to try it just for S's and G's, just to see what I could do. And frankly, I kind of I'll let the cat out of the bag. I did not pass it, and that kind of throws the gauntlet down. Now I kind of have something to work toward with a pistol. Can I pass this patrol rifle qualification with my pistol? I'd really like to be able to. I think that would make me feel really good about myself.
Already, I'm assuming it could also be, me searching my house full already, a police officer who doesn't happen to have a long gun going in full already. I'm gonna assume the gun's already out for any stage.
So at the stages at the 50, I dropped a lot of rounds. I dropped 5 rounds. I only had 3 that were actually in the circle. I had some down 4s and I had some down 1s. I'm not the proudest of that. I feel like I should have everything in the bottle at 50 yards. I feel like that's a reasonable standard. So I'm not the proudest of that, but also it's at 50 yards. I'm having a hard time being too mad at myself. At the 25, I am kind of mad at myself because I had a couple more dropped shots. I'm not super proud of my performance at the 20. In fact, I'm a little embarrassed by my performance at the 25.
Uh, 82%. I can't pass this now. 1, 2, 3.
Now we get to the 15. I was actually really happy with those headshots, with the exception of the fact that I dropped 1. But still pretty happy with those. So the reloads went fine. I made the times on those. All the shots were accurate.
I forgot to record that first iteration. That was 591 and it was clean.
Then we get to the failure drills, and that's where these times boy, are really, really pushing the limits of what I am capable of. Be able to, bang out a failure drill at 3 yards in 1.5 seconds. I did it once, and I had one that was over time. At the 10, I had one that, at 5 yards. At the 10, I had one that was over time as well. So in total, let's take a look at this target. I dropped 2 for time, so that is 10 rounds off the table right there. I had 4 down 4s, so that is 16 more points. That's 26 points off the table right there. So at 180 minus 6, 174. Okay, so far so good, right? I had, 6 down 1s, so that takes me down to a 168. A 160 would have been 80%. So I'm at a 79%, and 90% is required to pass anyway. So definitely did not pass this drill. Fun thing to screw around with, fun thing to shoot. And I frankly, like I said, I would love to be able to pass it. I did not do it, just kind of showing it here as a little bit of a fun run. That said, this is a phenomenal carbine drill, general purpose carbine drill. This is a great one. I like the CSAT standards that I shot last time with the rifle a little bit better just because of the increased range, the 75 and 100 yard stages. But this is a phenomenally good drill. Nothing wrong with this at all. If you can pass this, you should be pretty confident in your abilities with the carbine. That being said, thanks for watching, guys. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to just listen to me ramble here. If you're a patron, thank you so much. I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse every week. I appreciate it so stinking much. If you're not a patron, please consider becoming one. $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month. I operate on a shoestring budget, and that is not even technically accurate because I spend way more money than I make every single month putting this stuff out there just because I enjoy doing it. So every little bit helps pay for targets, pay for ammo, pay for trips to the range, pay for web hosting, Vimeo, URL ownership, all that other crap that happens in the background that takes money out of my pocket every month. Again, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Until next time, stay dangerous.